We're gonna start in 3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to Geekvice episode 274, proving any vice with enough geek can become a virtue. My name's Morph. That man's Kip. Good evening, Kip. Oh shit. I just turned your webcam off. Why did I do that?
I don't blame you.
Well, just looking at your ugly mugs, just like, oh no, stop.
No, but I don't blame you.
It's all good. Yeah, we're back for another week. We made it 2 weeks in a row without anybody sick or gone or whatever. It's like a Christmas miracle.
Yeah, nobody's out of town.
Thanksgiving miracle, maybe? Yeah.
Why not?
I don't know. I mean, did you work at all last week?
No.
No? I worked
I hadn't
only,
been in the office for 2 weeks
man, I only worked
and then
like
I
two
showed up on
days.
Monday. It's like, wow, feels like I never left.
Right? I only worked 2 days last week, so, 2.5 days, because I was there for part of the day on Wednesday. But yeah, I ended up having a good Thanksgiving, had a lot of fun, and did a whole bunch of stuff over the weekend. So I can't wait to get started talking about it.
Nice.
Got a whole bunch of things here. One, I want to start off with how was your Thanksgiving? Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
I did have a good Thanksgiving. I traveled to Colorado, saw my family there, and before everybody goes, "Oh, I love Colorado, the mountains," can't see the mountains where my parents live. It looks like Kansas.
Yeah.
So I don't
Yeah.
want to hear how pretty it is. Colorful Colorado, that time of year, has two colors, brown and gray.
And white.
Well, this time they had white because they got 8 inches of snow the day before we left to go there.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw those pictures. I have a whole bunch of family that live in the Denver area, and so yes, I was getting those pictures sent to me, which was really funny. So
Yeah, it
um,
wasn't funny. Trust me.
I thought it was funny. I was sitting in my warm living room with a fire going. Because Thursday went really well. The Thanksgiving Day actually went well, no problems. Good food, good people. Watched a lot of football, and then actually started a puzzle, which I haven't done a puzzle in a really long time. But my wife had found uh, a puzzle that was at a garage sale. It was like all of the Super Bowl like posters or patches for all. What are we at? Like 50 some, 60 some Super
50
Bowls.
some.
Yeah.
53, I think, was the last one.
Yeah, that sounds right. So it was like all those Super Bowls. Now, this was from a little while ago. I don't remember the exact date. I think it was the 90s. So there were some that, obviously some of the new ones weren't there, but it was really kind of cool. It was like all these different like posters and things, and they were overlapping bobblehead dolls, bobbleheads that were there, like old, you know, vintage looking bobbleheads of the different teams and the different patches and things like that that they put on the jerseys. So it was really kind of fun. I thought it was kind of cool looking at it and going back and going, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I remember that game, or reading about that game because it happened in 1960 something. So,
How many
but
piece puzzle is it?
1,000 piece puzzle.
Those are the best.
Yeah, and it was really hard because they had weird shapes. Like sometimes you get puzzles and all the pieces are um, they're similar. They're usually rectangular in shape, so they might have little parts sticking out or little holes cut in them so that they all fit together, but they're basically rectangular. These were all kinds of weird shapes, and they had edges that you're like, this looks like it's an edge piece, and then you go try to put it in one of the edges, you're like, yeah, no, that's not an edge piece, but it's straight. So yeah, that made it more challenging, and but it was a lot of fun. I spent kind of just a couple hours of it. I think I watched. Well, I think it was the Thursday night game. I worked on the puzzle while we watched that one, and then uh, on Friday got up, and it was too cold and rainy and crappy to go anywhere, so just stayed inside and watched movies and did more of the puzzle, finished the puzzle. So got it done in 2 days, so that's not too bad. It
That's pretty good.
didn't stay sitting out and in the way, and because I had to set up a big table in the living room and in order to fit it on, but
It's kind
it
of
was
funny that you
fun.
worked on a puzzle because when we got to my parents' house, they were working on a puzzle. So we spent quite a few hours messing around with that puzzle while we were there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like an old person thing to do. Like my grandma would always have a puzzle whenever we went over to their place for the holidays. There would always be a puzzle that like either my grandpa or her had started, and so you could always jump in and try to work on it. And even now, my wife's grandma, when we go over there, I mean, she still lives in the same house, but it's just her grandpa passed away, and so it's just her grandma in there, and so she's got a three-bedroom house. It's way too big for her, but one of her bedrooms, she just puts a table up in there and it sits up there all the time, and there's always a puzzle on it. Halfway done. Always halfway done. I don't know that she ever finishes the puzzle. I don't know. But every time we go over there, there's a puzzle half done, and we'll go sit in there and do a puzzle. So I felt like a really old person. Um,
Well, so puzzles are basically the old person's version of a video game because I
yeah.
have a lot of half-finished video games. So
Yes, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. But yeah, so on Friday we sat inside and watched a whole bunch of movies. We didn't watch any movie though that well, we watched some movies that were just recently made, but we have not watched of all the movies we watched, not a single one of them has been released on the big screen. We watched a crap ton of some really good and some really bad Christmas movies.
are they the Hallmark Channel Christmas movies?
They no, well, kind of. Some of them felt like they were, but they were either on Netflix or Disney Plus, or we watched. I think we might even found some of them on Hulu. There's some really bad ones on there. And especially on Friday, I really didn't have much of a choice because I was working on the puzzle, and so my wife took the remote and she would turn something on. The kids would be like, "We're watching this." She's like, "Well, you can go watch something else somewhere else." And so they would all get up and leave, and I'm like, "But I can't take the puzzles. You go somewhere else." So I ended up watching some of these movies. One of them, one of them I'm actually going to recommend watching because I actually thought it was fun, and it is called Noel. It is a Disney movie, and it's on Disney Plus. It stars Anna Kendrick as Noel Kringle, and the premise of this movie is that there is Santa has a family. He's just like anyone else, lives in the North Pole and has a family. It's Santa Claus is the name he takes on when he gets passed down to him. So you have Santa Claus and then you have Mrs. Claus, and they had kids. One of them was Noel, and I can't remember what they named. The other one they named Nick, which Saint Nick, haha, funny, funny.
Exactly.
So they were going to the story is that Santa Claus eventually grows old and needs to pass this on to somebody else, and he passes it on to his son Nick. That's the one that they choose to be the next Santa Claus. Well, he sucks at it, and right before a few weeks before Christmas, he says he needs to get away, and Noelle, her job as the sister, is supposed to just like keep everybody going, keep them all cheerful, keep the holiday cheer going. Well, she makes the comment to her brother like, "Hey, why don't you go take a weekend, go get out, get away for a weekend, come back, you'll feel all better and ready to go." Well, he doesn't come back. And so they all blame her for it. She has to go find him. And in doing so, she finds out that she actually has the um, she has the gifts is that is just natural to the Clauses. Um,
The
like
Kringles.
the Kringles. She has the gift of being able to understand different languages and speak different languages. Just she didn't know that until she was out in the real world talking to people, and then all of a sudden she could speak another language or she could understand sign language, and she didn't know it before. And she knew what other people wanted for gifts. She could just look at somebody and say, yeah, they want this. Um, that was stuff that her brother couldn't do, and so she ends up being crowned as Santa after she brings her brother back, and she gets crowned as Santa, and then she goes around and does it and saves Christmas and blah blah blah. Yeah, I spoiled the movie. Whatever. Still, it's worth watching. It's funny. It's entertaining. It's not terrible. Um, this is not going to win any awards, but Anna Kendrick is funny. I like her. I really loved her in Pitch Perfect. All three of those movies. I like those movies mainly because of her acting and her character and her presence on the screen, and this movie has that same stuff. It's just really good.
Yeah,
So,
she's always good. If you like her, there's a movie she did with Sam Rockwell called Mr. Right. Brilliant
okay.
movie. She's hilarious.
I'll have to check that out. I do like her. I have yet to watch her in something that I didn't like, and I despise most Christmas movies. There are not a it takes a lot for me to really want to watch a Christmas movie. But after watching this with her in it, I'm like, man, she really is that good because she makes me actually like I actually enjoyed this movie. So that's streaming on Disney Plus. You can go watch it right now. It's there, and I give it 2 thumbs up. Now the other one that I watched is on Netflix, and I got an email about it. I made fun of my wife because I'm like, hey, look, I'm getting emails from Netflix about these really cheesy looking Christmas movies. And she picked to watch this. It's called The Night Before Christmas.
All right.
I don't know a single person in it. Um, None of these people actually like look like anybody I would know. Um, Vanessa Hudgens, Josh Whitehouse, a bunch of people that look like pretty people, then they should be on like a Hallmark movie. And
Oh yeah.
this movie is a Hallmark movie. It is terrible. It is a cliche. It doesn't have like it doesn't really even the plot doesn't even fit for everything. Like it just the story is that this in Middle Ages, medieval time, this knight is trying to um, or this guy is trying to become a knight or get his knighthood, and some crone says that basically sends him into the future so that he can find his heart or follow his heart or some cheesy ass line. She sends him into the future, and he ends up in like 2019, and he's wearing like full chainmail and carries a sword. And first of all, like those people usually um, don't get taken in as normal people. But in this town, they looked at him like, oh, he's just a little crazy.
We can fix that.
We could just, yeah, that's fine. I'm just gonna let him. This pretty girl says it's fine. I'll just let him stay at my guest house. Really? Yeah, that doesn't happen. That just doesn't happen. I don't care how good looking the guy is. There is no girl that is gonna look at a guy wearing chainmail and a sword and go, "Yeah, come on over to my house. You can stay in my guest house." That's the movie right there. Is this knight having to deal with being out of his place and falling in love with the girl that lets him stay at his house or lets him stay at her house, and then he ends up going back to the medieval time because he finds his heart. He falls in love with her. He goes back to the medieval times and then tells his brother he can't be there anymore. He's got to go follow his heart, and goes and finds the old crone to send him back so he could go into the future and live happily ever after with this girl.
Fair
It's
enough.
it's awful. Don't Netflix is pimping this thing. It's a Netflix original. It is a Netflix original trash. Like it's not even original. It's just Netflix trash. It's terrible. Don't Unless you are into Lifetime and Hallmark movies, don't watch that. Save.
Well, that's Vanessa Hudgens, so I figured it had to be something pretty similar to a Hallmark Channel
Yeah, yeah.
thing.
So the all right. So the one other movie that I want to talk about, and I talked about it last year, and this is another Christmas movie that I actually think's really good, and that's because of one actor in it, and that's freaking Kurt Russell as Santa Claus. It's the Christmas Chronicles. If you didn't watch it last year, it's still on Netflix or it's back on Netflix. Go watch it because it's fun. It's fun. It's Kurt Russell stealing cars with a kid because he's lost his magic powers and he's got to save Christmas and he's got to hurry, and it is fun. It is funny. It is entertaining, and Kurt Russell is awesome. Because all I do is look at him with this big beard as Santa Claus, and all I can see is like Snake Plissken. So
Or Ego.
or Ego, yeah. Like all I see is his other. I really looking at him. I go, all I see is his like 80 or I guess yeah 80s 90s like action movie stuff. So yeah. So there you go. Go watch those. Don't watch The Night Before Christmas. Watch
Yeah, I
Noel
think
and
I'm just gonna
Christmas
stick
Chronicles.
with the old school Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Santa Claus is coming to
Oh
town.
yeah, we watched the Charlie Brown Christmas, a Charlie Brown
Yeah,
Christmas. We watched that tonight. So
that's a
um,
classic as well. That's a good
yeah,
one.
right. So yeah, we hit the classics too, but this this weekend was one of the filled with other stuff. So yeah, what else what is this? You're trying to find a grill for your house in your house?
In my house. Yeah, so
They make these things?
they do. And that's the problem. They make a lot of them. So I bought an Instapot last year about this time and love it. And then I saw, because I watch a lot of videos on recipes to cook in the thing, that Ninja came out with an indoor grill. And it's like, sweet. So I did some checking into it. It's an indoor grill, it's an air fryer, and a dehydrator all in one. It's like, well, that's pretty damn cool. And
Yeah.
then the more research you do, the more you realize, okay, it has all these features. Am I going to use all these features? Do I just need an indoor grill? Do I not need anything at all?
Well, you never need nothing. Like you gotta have something.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to have an indoor grill because winters here suck. It's
Yeah.
hard to get out there and grill.
Hmm.
And there are a lot of times where it's like, I just want to make a couple of burgers. I don't want to have to fire up because we don't have a gas grill. We have charcoal.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to spend an hour getting the grill to heat to cook 2 hamburgers and then ta-da, done. So
Yeah.
an indoor grill just sounds amazing. But there are so many of them. Holy crap.
Really?
There's Ninja, Hamilton Beach, some companies I never heard of. You Google best indoor grills for 2019, and it's like, okay, now I'm even more confused. Uh, so we'll see what I end up with. But if anybody has any recommendations, if they have one that they like, let me know. Geekvice@gmail.com. That would be great. Um, I don't know. I'm looking at one that's kind of like, those griddles, those electric griddles that you
Yeah.
can make pancakes and stuff on.
Hmm.
It's something close to that size, so I could do a few more things if I wanted to.
Right.
Look like the Ninja. Really, you could put like 2
Mm.
John-sized hamburgers on there, or a couple steaks, and that's it.
Yeah.
At least with the other ones, it looks like you could do maybe twice that much
Right.
if you wanted to. So I don't know.
If
And
you
then it's
wanted
like,
to,
am I
yeah.
going to use an air fryer? I've never used one before. I don't know if I'll actually ever use it.
Now,
So
I will say on the air fryers, they make they make some really good stuff. You can use those things for a lot of different things. My in-laws have one, and they use that almost as much as they use their oven because they can actually heat up you can cook a frozen pizza on the air fryer and it takes less time than in an oven. Like you
really,
can, yeah, they'll even do like French fries on that thing. Like they'll make homemade French fries, cut up potatoes, and throw those things on there, and they cook up really crispy too, which is surprising. But yeah, it's pretty it's they use it a ton. Now I don't have one and I don't use one, but I also like can't make much of anything. So
yeah. Well, when I think of air fryers, I think like what you just said, French fries,
yeah,
maybe making my own potato chips, all those kinds of things. And then I think about what I'm trying to accomplish. It's like maybe I shouldn't be eating French fries and potato chips. Yeah, it is air fried, so it's not as bad for you, but still it's potato.
yeah,
So I don't know. It's tough because I'm in that mode. We're eating healthy. I've lost over 20 pounds. I just want to keep it going.
right,
And then so I keep looking at all these gadgets and stuff that make meal prep a lot easier to do, because if the easier that is, the easier it is to stay on program.
yeah.
And then you look at stuff like air fryers and it's like, yeah, and then I can make French fries, which I'm not supposed to eat.
Yeah, I can feel you there. I didn't realize there were so many different options for indoor grills. Like I knew there was some out there, but I figured it was like it's like Instapot. Like there are several different kinds of Instapot, but they're really all exactly the same. They don't really do a whole lot of different things because it's really just a pressure cooker. But um but yeah, I didn't realize that there were so many different types and kinds and all that stuff
Oh,
for
it's
grills.
nuts. And before I even knew about the Ninja thing, I just thought air fryers were just for people with a ton of money. Or not air fryers, indoor grills.
Yeah,
I just thought it was one of those things, that comes with the high end kitchen equipment,
right.
the stainless steel chef quality stuff. And it's like, yeah. So I always just never even thought about it. And then when this Ninja thing came out, I was like, ooh,
Hmm,
yeah, I could put that to use.
there you
And
go.
so the goal is to research it till I'm freaking sick of it and then buy something I'm going to be happy with. So we'll
There you
see
go.
how that goes. Maybe we'll do a cooking video. Who knows?
Yeah, you'll have to yeah, you got if you get one, you got to do something like, "Hey, look at this. Look at all the gadgets and nifty things it does." That would be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll do like a tour of my kitchen so you can see my rack of toys,
Yeah, no kidding.
kitchen toys. It's kind of bad.
Yeah, what'll happen is I'll end up showing my wife, and then I'll end up with them, and I won't know how to use them, but she'll use them for something. So
Well,
no,
I do all the cooking in our house pretty much. So I'm
if
a
that
gadget
was
person. So
if
if I'm
that
going to
was
do
the
the cooking, I'm
case,
going to have the gadgets.
yeah, if that was the case in my house, we'd be eating a lot of frozen pizzas and having a lot of mac and cheese and having a lot of frozen chicken strips.
Sounds pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, I would be happy. I would also, well, I am overweight, so um,
No, no, not even close.
no, I'm getting there. My weight keeps going up, and I keep having the doctors look at me and go like, "You do realize you are going the wrong direction, right?" I'm like, yeah, I know. It's all right.
Yeah,
I just keep
it's
telling
too
them I'm gonna
easy to
hit my growth
do.
spurt.
You know, it's honestly it's so much cheaper to eat unhealthy.
Yeah,
To eat
it
healthy is
is.
expensive as hell.
It's expensive and it's hard to do. Like it takes time. It's not hard. It just takes time.
It
Everything
takes
takes
time.
time.
Yeah.
And if you
So
don't have the time,
Sundays, I will spend Sunday almost my entire Sunday afternoon in the kitchen because I will make like 3, 4, 5 meals.
right?
So we have lunches and stuff for the week, and yeah, it's just a time consuming thing. That's why I like the gadgets, something that make it go faster.
Right.
Like anything I can throw in the Instapot and just set it to pressure cook and be done
Yeah.
is ideal. But now if I can grill a few things, we bought some grass fed beef patties.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could just grill a bunch of those up and just, you know,
Yeah.
steam some vegetables and there you go, lunch. So,
I
yeah,
like that
it's
idea.
anything to make my life easier. But until my life gets easier, it gets more difficult trying to pick out the correct one.
Of course. Of course. Well, so on another note, over another thing I did this weekend, or that I got this weekend, see my new shirt?
Say Ferris.
That's right. A little Ferris Bueller shirt. I got a couple of new shirts for my birthday this last week, and also got to go do some cool family stuff with the family, and I want to pimp some of that stuff. One, if you're in the Kansas City area and you have the chance, go check out the Museum of Illusions at Union Station in Kansas City. It is really cool. It is not huge, so you're not going to spend in multiple hours there, but you can absolutely get a solid hour worth of time in there. Oh, and I should have brought the little puzzles down that we got. So I have a little store at the end that has all those little bunch of wooden um, like puzzles that you have to put together. It's like, hey, here's a bunch of Tetris pieces, build a cube out of it, type thing.
Yeah.
Uh, and those are, I mean, that's a lot of fun. Some of the I'll have to put some of the pictures and stuff up that we did because they like one of the rooms they have your standard optical illusion stuff where it's like, hey, look at this picture and you can see this or you can see this, or hey, look at these pictures and look, these lines are the same size. They look like they're different, but they're not. They're the same size, and here's how you can do it. They have brain teaser type things. They also have a infinity room, so it's a room that you walk in, close the door, and on all sides is all mirrors. So even the door has a mirror on it. So when the door's closed, everywhere you look is just forever of you. And that's really kind of cool. It's fun taking the kids in there and watching them go like, "Whoa, look at all that!" And then they're doing crazy stuff. Quite entertaining. I'll have to put some pictures up on our Facebook page.
Yeah, do
Um,
that. That'd be cool.
but yeah, they have the good old fashioned optical illusions, like you put your head up in a hole in in this table, and if you go stand in a certain spot and take this picture, and they've got little signs on the floor and on the walls like stand here to take your picture. You take a picture and the mirrors underneath this table block off so that you can't see your body, and so you look like your head is just sitting in a tray of fruit. So it, you know, funny optical illusion stuff that they did. There was another room that had uh, that the floor was slanted, but due to the way it was slanted, there was a webcam set up to where you could see on the screen the what it looked like, and you could if the people that were standing on the left side of the room were looked humongous, and the people standing on the right side of the room looked tiny. And they even had a hole in the wall where the one of the guys running it would take your picture, take your phone and take a picture of you. And so it was funny. On one, we did it with my wife and I on the short side, and the kids on the big side, and it was hilarious because they were taller, like they looked like they were huge compared to us, or looked almost, looked bigger than we did. What was really funny is when you put the kids on opposite sides, and Reese is already, my oldest is tall. He is 5 feet tall. And at 10 years old, he's 5 feet tall. And my younger one, who's 7, is quite a bit shorter. And so it was really funny when you put them in, you put Conley, the youngest one, on the short side, and you put Reese on the tall side. It looked normally offset, but when you switched those and Conley is bigger than his brother, that's when it looked really funny because he's about half his size, and so it was quite entertaining. Lots of cool little illusions and little things that you look at and it's just like, oh, this is neat. Um, one warning: they do have a vortex room. And if you don't know what a vortex room is, it is a room that spins perpendicular to where you're standing. So instead of spinning around you, it spins like over and under you.
Does it cause you to lean?
It makes you feel like the room is flipping upside down. So when you walk in, if it's kind of like a little bridge with railings on each side, and this thing starts spinning, it's motion censored. So once you start walking out there, it will start spinning, and it will cause vertigo, and you will feel like you're gonna fall over, like the thing's gonna move. And I get motion sickness. I was standing at the end trying to catch up to Conley, who was just started running towards it, and so he walks out there, gets about halfway out, and then all of a sudden the thing starts really spinning, and he grabs the handrail, and he's like, "I'm gonna fall!" He is screaming bloody murder. I'm like, it's okay, just keep walking." So I walk out there to try to help him, and I get about 3 steps away from him, and I just go, "Nope, I can't be out here." And I turn around and I don't even turn around. I just walk backwards and walk right out. Like, don't look at anything. Like, try to narrow my vision down. And I just walk right back out. I'm like, nope, can't do that. Because the moment I got in there and it started spinning, like, I felt like my stomach was in my ears. It was not good. I was going to hurl if I tried to stay
Oh
in there or
man.
make it through there. But Reese and Amber, like, they love that stuff. They went through it, and Conley ended up going through it again. But uh, afterwards, when we got done, we were talking about it, and they started complaining about their head hurting and their stomach hurting. I'm like, yeah, that's from that room. Like, that messes with your senses and your equilibrium so much that if you do it too often, it's going to, like, you're gonna feel the repercussions of it.
You're gonna throw up.
So yeah, really, um, really cool museum. It's the Museum of Illusions at Union Station. It's been there for a while. I think they said it's been there for about a year now. I think it's a permanent exhibit. They said they're not, like, they're gonna stick around. I'm hoping that they change things up and add some new illusions and things in there every once in a while. I don't know how often they change things, but it's it's at least definitely worth checking out for anyone in the Kansas City
Yeah, I'm
area.
gonna have to check that out before the end of the year.
Yeah, super cool, really fun. And then while you're down there, I have found my new favorite bar, and I don't like going downtown, but this bar is going to make me go downtown a lot more, or I want to go there anytime I am downtown. And I should have actually looked up. So while we're talking about it, um, I will look up where it actually is so I can give the actual address. This place is called Tapcade. It is um, it is a vintage uh, arcade bar and grill. So it's got a big tap. It's got a big wall of taps of beer taps. So there's lots of beers you can get. Um, a lot of local stuff, some imported stuff, lots of just good beers. Didn't have a bad beer that I was there for. This is located at 1701 McGee down in KC Mo. It is the cool thing about this is that it is until before 8 p.m. it is all ages. Families are welcome. It's family friendly. You don't have to be 21 to be in there. So we were able to take the kids there, and they have a whole bunch of vintage arcade games. And the other awesome thing, you don't need quarters to play these games. You pay $5 and you have unlimited play. They have tape.
Nice.
They have tape over the coin dispensers, and you can just go play games. They've got games like Dig Dug, Zaxxon, Robotron, 2084, Centipede, Tetris, Mega Man, Superman, Donkey Kong, Street Fighter 2, Killer Instinct, uh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like the four-person arcade thing. They had Metal Slug. They have NFL Blitz 99, Mortal Kombat, NBA Jam, Space
Nice.
Invaders. Um, like off-road, they have the off-road four-person with the wheels and the pedal and like off-road like racing game from the 90s, like 80s, 90s. Like they have that sitting there. It was hilarious. I love like that game was so much fun. And it was great. I think what was the most fun was being able to one not having to worry about quarters all the time, but being able to show the kids these games that were believe it or not, a lot of these games are influential in the games that they're playing now. I mean, games like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that four-person arcade game, was one of the first of its kind of having a cooperative platformer type game. The getting and playing Galaga and Space Invaders and uh, even Donkey Kong, Dig Dug, Zaxxon, these old games that were influential, at least in my childhood. I loved playing those games. So it was fun to be able to sit down and I could play them with them because they could jump on one player, I could be second, first player, second player, while you're all of a sudden you're both playing and it's a lot of fun. So highly recommend Tapcade.
Very cool. Yeah, that's another place I've been meaning to go. So I guess I got to get my butt in gear.
Yeah, they have really good food, dude. They have a movie theater there too. That's like I think it's a single screen movie. Um, but I don't know what they have going on there. I wasn't there for that. I was really just there for the video games, and I played the crap ton of them. it was it was hilarious because we jumped in, and I remember playing NFL Blitz, and you would have the you don't have nobody there. At least when I was there, there were no assholes that wanted to come over and just be like, "Hey, I got winner," and throw their quarter down when you're playing with your kid. Um, Everyone was very nice, and if I was playing a game with one of my kids and we were playing like NFL Blitz, they didn't just jump in and be like, "Oh, well, I'll play against you guys," you know. They just let us have our time, and then when we walked away, someone else would go in there. So I, it was a lot of fun. But man, NFL Blitz was a blast. I was having a way too much fun beating anybody who would play me in NFL Blitz. So that was
He was owning it.
Oh yeah, it brought back memories. That and NBA Jam, those were two video games that I played so much that I would sit there at the games and I would just if you kept winning, you'd have to play. What was it with I think it was with NBA Jam. You had to put in enough to play all four quarters. And I think it was the same way with Blitz. You had to put enough money in to play all four quarters. But if you won against somebody else, then you got to keep playing. And so I would just keep getting those free games from winning. It was like, mm, so much fun. So much fun. But
Yeah, that that sounds like something like I need to convince my work to go to.
oh yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking I want to have a team building outing there because I think that would be a lot of fun. And they say on their website that they're always rotating the games in and out, so some games might be there, some won't, but they for the most part, the other nice thing was, from what I could tell, these all look like they were original cabinets too. These didn't look like ones you could buy at Walmart or something, you know,
The
or
little mini ones.
yeah, or something somebody had rebuilt. These all looked well worn and had their time spent on them, so it meant they were broken in. Let's put it that way.
Ah,
But yeah,
which is cool. Which means they did some research. They probably had to do some rebuilding and.
yep, yeah. You could tell, and there were some that were in a little better shape than others, but um, I didn't have a single one that didn't work. Like everything I went to play or tried to play worked. So big fan, big fan.
And it's called Tap House.
Tapcade.
Tapcade. My bad.
Yep, Tapcade. All right. Last couple things before we wrap up this episode. You caught up on the Mandalorian?
I am all caught up.
What are your thoughts so far? Still living up to the hype? Still enjoying it?
It's my favorite show out right now,
Yeah,
to be
mine too.
honest.
Mine too.
Yep, I keep getting daily reminders that my wife will have to own. It's a need to own Baby Yoda. She
Yeah,
has to have one. Life cannot go on without it.
fair enough.
Sadly for her, what I read today is they don't. They probably won't be available till like spring. You can pre-order them, but
Yeah.
it's going to be a little bit of wait. See, this caught Disney off guard,
I think
which I'm guessing it did.
no, I don't think it caught him off guard. Disney is so good about keeping stuff hidden and under wraps that if they would have started production on these before it released, the impact of that first episode would have been lessened.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
It would have leaked. Kind of like what's happened with some of the Lego stuff. So Lego has released, hey, this new movie's coming out. I think it happened with Spider-Man. One of the Spider-Mans, Far From Home, maybe, um, that there were Lego sets being released shortly before, like kind of in promotion of the movie, except they were giving away, like, it was fight scenes from the movie. So you're seeing pictures on the box from the movie that nobody else had seen before. It's like those are walking that fine line, and the surprise that was the Baby Yoda at the end of the first episode was too big to for them to let that happen. So
Yeah, it's it's too cute for words, to be honest. And yeah, it's taking the world by storm, obviously. But
oh yeah,
the last episode, it was called Sanctuary. There was a lot more Baby Yoda in that one,
mm-hmm.
and it got to be a kid for a little while, and it's like, yeah, this just made it worse.
Yep.
People are now really, because really, what do you want? You want a Baby Yoda standing there holding a bowl of soup.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
I was a big fan of Baby Yoda standing there with half of a frog in its mouth. I thought that was funny. So
See, the toys are endless now.
yeah.
So
Yeah. No, it was yeah, and the show is good. The story is good. This last episode was great. I loved it. Um I thought it was very humanizing. I am hoping that now maybe they're I'm hoping that maybe this one is leading to like a team up, and I'm hoping that the new character doesn't leave
Gina
completely.
Carano,
Yeah. I'm
yeah, she
hoping
was awesome.
yeah, I'm hoping she's around for a little bit more because I thought her character was awesome. So I don't know. We'll find out. We got to wait till Friday to see the next one. So
Yeah, but I thought it did a good job of explaining some things.
hmm
Like if he never takes off his helmet, how does he eat? He must smell like hell under there. But yeah, they
yeah.
took care of that.
Well, and he even said that he takes off. Like, when was the last time you took off your helmet? Yesterday. Like, I take this stuff off. I sleep without it on. I just don't do it when there's anyone else around. Because
Yeah,
they even showed
but
that scene where
they
he was
had to
going
do
to
it. They
eat,
had
and
to
he just.
explain it, which I thought was great.
But it was great. It was well needed. It was perfectly timed. But why does he keep the helmet on? It's not because he's hiding from people. It's because it's an honor thing. Like, if he takes it off, he'll never be allowed to wear it again by the code. You know,
Yeah, he's
it's
full on in the
yeah.
Mandalorian culture. I mean, and okay, so the episode before where the rest of the Mandalorians came in and bailed him out,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "Well, you guys are basically effed, and you're gonna have to move your whole thing." And he's like, "Yeah, this is the way." And he's like, "Yeah, this is the way." And it's like that's what it's all about. I mean,
Yeah.
being a Mandalorian is this hard set code to the point where you help out another one, even though it means you've got to uproot everything and move somewhere else.
Yep.
It's like, it's just the way it is. You needed
Yeah.
help. We came to your help. We'll just deal with the consequences. It's like, that is kind of awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It is really cool, and his sense of honor, and like, even though it was like all right, no, I'm not gonna help you. Like, why would I help you defend your little village? That's not my, like, no, you don't have enough money to do. And then he's like, you know what? All right, yeah, like, I can't just leave these people out there. I need to help them. So
Well, yeah, and that, and on top of the fact that they mentioned they were in the middle of nowhere, and he's like, "Oh, middle of nowhere, you say?
yeah,
That sounds perfect."
right. So yeah. Um. So yeah, really good. Definitely still living up to the hype. 4 episodes down. I don't even know how many they're set for this first season. I think I read 10. I don't know. But either way, it's gonna be fun. I'm enjoying the journey, and I'm not minding this 1 week at a time thing as much as I thought I would. I wish there was more of it, but I understand, and I'm okay with it. So
Yeah, same. I'm actually thinking it's better because we would have binged all those in just one day,
Yeah.
and that had nothing to look forward to as far as the Mandalorian goes. It's going to be tough enough as it is when it ends in January, but
Yeah, but what I'm hoping for is that, maybe then in January we get something else. Like maybe we get one of the Marvel series and then, you know, that runs for 8 weeks or whatever, 10 weeks, and then you get the next one. And so that maybe instead of this, hey, here's your stuff, watch it in one day, and now you got to wait, 3, 4 months for your next thing. Maybe now we'll be able to get kind of a constant feed of new things on the Disney Plus that'll kind of keep you going, as
yeah.
opposed to Netflix's just here's all of it, here's all of it. So
Yeah, this is true.
makes the
But
wait
it also
shorter.
does something else that for a person with the memory that I have, it's perfect to have all that time because I've watched each episode more than once,
Yeah,
which is necessary for me to remember all the little details. So when the next episode hits, it's like I can remember the episode before that, and then I can start to see things a little more clearly.
right.
So it helps me with that.
See clearly now that the rain is gone.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, last thing, Black Widow teaser trailer just
Nice.
just came out. Looking forward to it. March 2020. Here we go.
Yeah, it's
Sign me
pretty
up.
close.
Sure.
And I'm curious. We talked about this before we went live. I'm curious of the timeline because I honestly thought when they announced a Black Widow movie, it was going to be her childhood.
I did too. I did too.
This
But it,
video does not, or this
yeah.
trailer did not allude to that. In fact, it looks like it was after Endgame, maybe, and she goes back home. We'll see.
No, I'm gonna guess that this is pre-Infinity War.
You think so?
Yeah. I think this is going to be the gap between, well, maybe even before Winter Soldier, or could be maybe right after Winter Soldier. Like going to look for like the collapse of Shield and maybe needing to return home to deal with stuff. I
Yeah,
don't
because they
know.
were kind of done, weren't they, at the end of Winter Soldier?
Yeah.
And then, well, maybe more after
But there's
Civil
this
War.
yeah, but there yeah, cuz there's a scene in there in the trailer that looks very reminiscent to, like, is it the beginning of, which one is it? Is it the beginning of the first Avengers movie where she's tied to the chair and she
That
gets the phone
is
call,
the
or is that
beginning of.
is that the beginning of Winter Soldier or Civil War?
I thought that was the beginning of Civil War.
And that could be like where she's like, her phone rings and the guy that's got her captured, has got her tied up to the chair, and he's like, "It's for you," and like she's like got it under her arm, and she's like, "Yeah, yeah, hold on, I'm in a, oh, yeah, okay, you need me right now? Like, okay, just hold on one second," and then she falls
Just
backwards,
rips it
breaks the
apart.
chairs, beats up everybody, then it's like, I'm on my way.
Yeah.
Like there was a scene that looked like it was from one of those times where she's like ziplining down through stuff. So maybe it's around that time period. I don't know, but
I
I
don't know
am
either.
I am curious because like you, I was expecting this to maybe be a pre-Avengers, but this almost looks like it's a post-Avengers going back to deal with stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, it's, because she talks about her family and all that stuff, so that's fine.
Yeah,
That I'm good with that. So I
yeah,
actually think I like it more that it's not going back to her childhood because we got enough. Whatever movie that was that did a flashback on her
hmm
childhood, that was enough.
Well, and I
really.
think I think we're gonna get more flashbacks on her childhood. I think we're gonna get more background story on her and more build up of the character, which I'm all for. So I'm kind of excited for that, and you know, uh, I'm just really excited for the movie in general. Like I think it looks like a lot of fun. So.
It does. And to add another layer to it, I guess you could say, the girl who plays her sister,
Mm-hmm.
her name is Florence Pugh. And if you're a wrestling fan, you'll recognize her as playing Paige in the movie Fighting with My Family.
Mm.
Yeah, so if you liked the movie Fighting with My Family, she's the one who played Paige.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, because we watched the trailer and holy cow, I know who that is. So I had, of course, had to go into IMDb and look. It's like, oh yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah, give her black
Yeah,
hair. Yep, that's her.
cool. Very good. All right. Well, that's it. That's all she
That's
wrote.
it.
That's all we got,
Yeah, that's
guys.
really all we could talk about in the trailer because it didn't give much away.
No,
I'm just excited about it.
yeah, me too. And I can't wait for I can't wait for a full on trailer. I know we're still probably I'm guessing we will get it after Christmas
Yeah,
or around I'm going to say
or during Star Wars.
that's what I was going to say. I was going to say around that December 20th, which is when the new Star Wars. Oh, do you know what else comes out December? No, so December 20th has two big things for it. One, Star Wars Rise of Skywalker comes out. But do you know what else comes out that day?
No idea.
The Witcher Netflix series is going to come out
Oh,
that day
that's
as well.
right.
So
Yeah.
that gets dropped then as well. I'm looking forward to that too. So yeah, we were me and one of the guys at my office who's also a Witcher fan where we were talking about that. He's like, that movie's coming up here soon. So I looked it up and like, oh, it's December 20th. He's like, isn't that the same day? Like, isn't that right around when the Skywalker movie? And so I looked up, it's exactly the same day. So there we go. 2 for 1 stone right there.
I like it.
Might have to take the whole day off work just so I can go see that movie and then binge watch The Witcher.
Yeah, I've got tickets for the movie already. Not a surprise there.
No, no.
And yeah, so it seems so far away, but then when you think about it, it's less than 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's not far away at all. Christmas is right around the corner. So,
Truth.
all right, guys. Well, you know the drill. Go check out the blog at geekvice.blogspot.com. Go follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/geekvice. Follow us on Twitter, that man over there, at Kip Killigan. You can follow me at Geekvice. You can go subscribe to the YouTube channel, check out stuff. I'm working on something now with Brady, another video series to go up there for a new game. Well, it's not a new game, but it's a new game for him and I to play called The Escapist 2. So stay tuned for that. We're going to start recording that here soon, and it's going to be a little bit more. Going to try to increase the production value on it, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, you can find that over at the YouTube channel. Just head over to the YouTube, search for Kip Morph. You will find us. We're the only Kip and Morph on YouTube. You can also reach us by email at Gmail. Oh, at Gmail. You can reach us at Gmail at geekvice@gmail.com. How about that? That's
Yeah.
geekvice@gmail.com.
One more time.
Geekvice@gmail.com. All right, everybody.
Operators are standing by.
Thanks, everyone, for listening to our ramblings, and we will see you next week.
Later.
This podcast is part of the Podcast Arcade Network.